So, is there like any variation in Coach Clay's routine from last year?
I would say it's mostly the same.
Yeah.
I think that now that our group is a little bit more experienced, we've had Coach Claymore for a year now. We kind of know how the room works. So I would say if anything's different, it's just comfortability. Everybody's comfortable in that room. Everybody understands the playbook and what's going on. So, yeah, it's just a great room, great feeling right now.
How does that repetition extend, from practice to the game field?
Yeah, it helps a lot. We have a lot of really great coaches all across the board on the defensive staff, a lot of NFL experience, so they get us really prepared for the games. Our scouting report is always really good, so really thankful for that. It translates a lot, so we definitely see it a lot on the field in the game.
How do you feel like your game has evolved in terms of since spring ball to now?
There's always a lot to learn as a player. You're never going to be perfect. So I think really just being consistent is the number one thing. Learning the playbook through and through and understanding not just what I'm doing, but what the guys around me are doing as well. That's definitely helped me a lot moving from the spring into the fall.
Playing alongside your brother, obviously, there's probably is a little bit of the natural chemistry there. How is that, and how do you kind of feed off of each other? How do you find that you guys kind of feed off each other when you guys are on the field together?
Yeah, it's a really cool experience. It's something that we both worked really hard for our whole lives. But yeah, just like you said, there's a good amount of chemistry. I've grown up watching him play football, so I kind of just understand the way he works and the way he thinks. So it's really just second nature for us. I know that if he's on my right side, that everything over there is going to be taken care of, and vice versa. But that really just extends all across the board on the defense. Kyle's my brother, but all 11 guys out there are my brothers too. So I feel like I have that same connection with all of them.
Have you felt any pressure, given that there's that third starting spot open at the linebacker position, and the fact that what's at stake is you can play with your brother?
Yeah, I wouldn't say pressure as much. I would say more so pride. I really just want to step up into that role. Darian Butler was a great player for us last year, and those are some big shoes to fill. So I just hope that I can contribute as much as I can as a player to help this team win. Not really pressure as much, but more just excited for the opportunity.
And what do you think you have taken away, at least from Darian's time here, just kind of seeing him, watching him play and everything like that?
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot from Darian, being that we're both what people consider to be a little bit undersized linebackers. Just the techniques that he's used and the speed that he uses and just the aggression that he plays with on the field. A lot of those things are things that you can't coach. So being able to pick those up from him just from watching film and studying his tape has been really a blessing. So I've been thankful to have guys like Darian Butler above me and that I've been able to learn from and just have as mentors for me.
We've talked a lot about your guys' strengths as backers. Is there a specific part of your game you're trying to get better at the next couple weeks before game one?
I would say for the most part, I've gotten everything pretty dialed in. I think it just goes back to the consistency conversation. For me, it's not so much about being all over the field, but rather being where I need to be and making the plays that I need to make. So that's just really what I've been focusing a lot on this fall.
Kyle's a pretty big leader in the team. Does he kind of use you as a way to kind of get to the other players and maybe treat you a little differently because you're brother, or do you think he kind of leads you in the same way?
Yeah, well, our relationship is a lot different just because we've grown up together. So at times I feel like he knows he can be a little bit harder on me than maybe somebody else. And sometimes it gets heated a little bit, we have a little bit of a clash, but at the end of the day, we're teammates, we're family. So we chop it up, figure it out, and get back on the same page. So I think, he uses it a little bit as a way to know, like, when he's serious, he's serious. But I don't really mind that, you know what I mean? I'm used to that my whole life. I've been used to it. So if that's what it takes to get the team going, then I'm more than happy and willing to let that happen.
There's been a lot of praise for Merlin lately, how much he improved his body and just physically how he looks this year. What have you seen from him, and how do you feel like his new physique, if you will, has sort of helped him and translated to when you guys are out there?
Yeah, so I've been here for going on 4 years now. And this offseason, I really feel like Merlin took it really serious. Not to say that he didn't before, but just seeing how much attention to detail he had and how much it really mattered to him as a player was really inspiring for me as well. But yeah, I'm super excited for Merlin. This is really his year to come out of his shell and really do his thing. He had that freshman All-American season, and people haven't really been talking about it as much since then, but I really think that he's going to surprise a lot of people. That new frame is really good for him. He's moving really well, so I'm super excited to see him have a great season.
And I'm sure you go to your brother when you need help or something, just because you guys have been with each other. But when you guys do get heated, like you were talking about, who kind of steps in at that point, and who do you guys go to maybe calm that down?
Honestly, I think everyone just kind of takes a step back at that point. Nobody really wants to get between the brothers, so we really just hash it out between ourselves. But like I was saying before, we never let it get too deep. We never let the highs get too high or the lows get too low. Just keep it consistent across the board, and it really works out well for us.
Leading into preseason camp, Coach Claiborne mentioned that it might be, you mentioned the pride thing, it might be sort of this season wanting to make a name for yourself. You know, your brother has been here a long time, and now it's sort of your turn. What kind of conversations have you had with Coach Claiborne in that respect, or just what is your perspective on that coming to this season?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to have a lot of NFL coaches, Antonio Pierce before Claiborne, and now having Claiborne as well. And those guys have really just helped me develop my game so much from before. I was a safety when I first came in here and then moved down to linebacker. And having those guys that have had real life experience in a game has been really a blessing, because they teach me things that you can't just pick up. You have to have somebody who's been through it and has seen it before. So he's really just helped me level up my game, if you will. Taught me a lot about consistency, like making the plays that I'm supposed to make is something that we always talk about together. But yeah, I'm just really excited for the opportunity. I'm really thankful to be in a position that I am, and I'm hoping I can make everybody proud this season.
What kind of pointers have Kyle's given you as you go through this process, this preseason?
Yeah, I think it's just the typical big brother getting on me when I'm not doing something right. If maybe I need to come in a little bit early on a day or something like that, he'll get on me and make sure that we're both doing it together, things like that. Our positions are a little bit different, so I would say if he teaches me something, it's more about just being a linebacker, having aggression and being smart, being good on your feet, good with your hands, things like that. But I think I learned most from him by just watching, going back to the film and looking at his techniques and what he does in a game and how it helps him be successful, and really just pull pieces away from that.
What techniques are you looking to pull kind of from his game that you look for in film?
I think I'm pretty good in coverage personally. So every time I'm watching film and I'm watching him at Mike, he's always dealing with offensive linemen blocking and really good with his hands and getting off blocks and things like that. So that's something that I've really focused on trying to learn from him is, working over the top of tackles and, playing through the hands of a guard or things like that. So yeah, it's definitely in the run game is where I focus the most.
From what you've seen so far, what are your expectations for the linebacker group as a whole?
I think that we always have a thing in our room. We say we got to be the best group on the team, not just one day, but every day. So that's really just the expectations that we have for ourselves. We want to go out there and make sure everyone knows they can count on us. We're going to contribute everything we can to the team to help us win. And yeah, that's just our expectations for ourselves.
What will it take to achieve those expectations, you think, ultimately over the course of the year?
Consistency. I feel like I've said that a lot, but consistency is the number one thing. I said this earlier too. You can't let your highs get too high. You can't let your lows get too low. You just got to stay all across the board and make sure you know what you got every single play. And if we do that, then we'll be fine. We don't have to do anything extra. We just have to be who we are and play as we do.
So.